My name is Hlezi Pinapai. I'm the personal librarian for the College of Graduate Studies, and I'm also responsible for some of the subject areas in the College of Human Sciences, your communication science, history, information science, and political sciences. I'm here today representing the College of Graduate Studies because I'm also servicing them. My brief this morning is to take you through the use of the library to conduct your research. And I welcome you all, colleagues who have joined us and some of the students that are here. I will briefly take you through this overview. First, I'm going to talk about just the general library information from the library, what there is for you as a master's and doctoral students, and how important your MyUNISA credentials are to us as a library, and how you're going to search the library catalog if you want to borrow some of our print or ebooks, and how are you going to use our UNISA institutional repository, where when you're done with your research outputs, you're going to deposit all your masters and doctoral students there. And we will go and search the library databases that we subscribe to using our library guides. And I'm sure by now you all know that you have specific library guides. We have library guides as personal librarians that are dedicated to all the subject areas that are taught at this institution. I'm sure by now you all know who your personal librarians are, and each one of you do have a library guide. So I'll take you through that, and I will show you, I would encourage you all to go, when you're now going to search through our databases, you must all now go and do an add-on on your any of your service providers, whether you're using Chrome or whether you're using Edge or you're using Mozilla, to go and download what we call LibKey, which is it's a LibKey nomad. It's a library key where you go and search our catalog, or where you go and search our databases. If you've downloaded this extension, when you go to any of our databases, it will give you a link to a full text version of an article that you couldn't find maybe when you're using ProQuest, or you are on the Web of Science or any of our databases. It will give you an extra link to where you can find this particular article in a full text format. And then this will be our second part. I'm just telling you this. In our next coming training, we're going to go through what we call the research support tab, where you're going to show you how you're now going to search for all the methodology stuff that you have to look for your own particular research projects. And then in our third version of the training, we're going to go and look at the reference management tools, where we subscribe to different versions. We have RefWorks, we have Mendeley, which is a free version, and then you can also go and log an account with EndNote. You can have a choice. It will depend what you feel comfortable with. So this will be your library of references, but this will come in the third part of this particular training. Okay, we can start now. Under the general information, you are all, whether you're an M or D student, you can borrow our print books. You can have 16 at a time. You can go and use any of our branches, or you can use the online library catalog, and you can request all 16 at a go at the same time. And if you are within the borders of South Africa, you as a South African student, you'll be allowed to take these 16 books and you can keep them for 42 days. But the system might actually say to you, you might find that the library will send you an SMS to say to you, this book is being recalled, because remember, we've got so many students. You have to return it to us within a period of 7 days. If you don't do that, all the late returns, you're going to be fined for that. So the fine will accumulate. So if you have a book that has been recalled, please make sure that you return it within the 7-day period. And beyond that, the library is going to start fining you. So if you have a fine, our library system and our registration system at UNISA, they talk to one another. If you have library fines which have accumulated, you may not be able to re-register. Remember, all of you, once you are registered on a yearly basis, you have to re-register. You re-register. If you owe the library some funds, the system is not going to allow you to register before you pay us back what you owe us. And unfortunately, since COVID, we've lost a lot of contracts with some of the overseas postal services, where we used to send our overseas students some of the print books. So we are no longer doing that since COVID. So unfortunately for our overseas students, they are just encouraged to use the library and make sure that they go and use the ebook versions of whatever title that we have. We are trying by all means to buy a lot of ebooks. We've bought packages. You can see on your library guides, there are different packages that we have on ebooks. So I'll show you when we go live where you can go in any of your library guide to find packages for ebooks. You can go and do a topical search on the subject that you are researching on. You will be able to pick up ebooks that you can either use online and save some of them so that you can work, you can continue with your research project. And like I've already said, some of our, overseas students, you can't borrow any of the prints because we don't have a way to send them back to you. And what I want to say about the print books, you can go to the library's page, and under the services for all the postgraduate students, there's a link to all our branches in the country. If you are near a branch, whether you are in Durban or you are in Polokwane or you are somewhere in Limpopo or even in Mpumalanga, UNISA has different branches. So instead, when we send these print books to you, when you borrow books from us, when we send them to you, we send them via a courier to your address. If you have changed jobs, let's say you were in Joburg, now you're working in Durban, you need to tell us when you request these books, where do you want us to send these books? You can either use all of these branches to go and collect these books from there, or you can, if you don't tell us when you request this book, we're obviously going to send this to your registered address. If you are in Joburg and you move to Polokwane, when you request the book from us, and then you don't say how you want us to send it to you, we're going to send it to your Johannesburg address. So you'll see when we go live, there's a verification of request. You need to tell us. If you are in Pretoria, you can tell us you can come through to the library because we are open from 8 to 4 every midweek from Monday to Friday. You can tell us that don't send it via the post. Just keep it, I'll come and collect it. All our requests are done online. So this is how you go to the catalog and do your request and tell us where you want this book to be sent. You can tell us that I want it to be sent to the Durban branch, I'll collect from the counter there, or I want it to be sent to any of your branches at Polokwane, I'll go and collect it from there. And you can check the status of your request using this link, this library inquiries link, to check whether the book has already been sent to you, or you want to cancel some of the requests, because there are times when you request something, then you realize this is not what I want. Then you go and cancel it through this library, the email address. And this is all our branch locators. You'll find it online, where you can just tell us, send this book to Polokwane, to Durban, to Rustenburg, wherever UNISA has certain branches. Renewal is also done online. I'll show you, there's a link called My Library. If you click on that, you have to log in. Remember how important your My UNISA password it is to us when you log in, because I get a lot of queries that, especially with the new students, when they see that login page come in the front of their eyes, they get confused because it says username. So people tend to put the whole email, which is your My UNISA email address, student number, and at mylife.unisa.za. Your username in this instance, when you want to log into the system of the library, your login should be your student number, should be your username, and your password should be your My UNISA password. So if you haven't claimed your My Life email account and your password, please do so, because your password that you log into your My UNISA account is actually crucial to us. It will be used as a PIN code for all the library resources, whether you want to request, whether you want to renew, whether you want to open any of our online material, be it articles, be it ebooks, any transaction that you're going to do within the library context will require your student number and your My UNISA password. Generally, what I would also want to talk about is that whatever you get online, as far as journal articles are concerned, you are welcome to download as many as you want. If you go and conduct a search in any of our databases, we don't have a limiter. You can download 50 articles at a go, whether it's PDFs or it's HTML, but I think most of you will go for a PDF because it's an actual article which has a page number from 1 to whatever page, and then when you do your in-text citation, you'll be able to use those page numbers. If you find an HTML version of a PDF of a full text article, just try to find out if you can't find the actual PDF. You can download as many as you want. If, for instance, you are a history student or an anthropologist in one of those departments, and you come across an article which is not available anywhere online, I must tell you that UNISA has more than 500 databases, and most of our databases, you are likely to find a PDF document, which is a full text article. And we are trying to subscribe to all the back files, like your archives. If it's a ProQuest, we go back a certain years back. We're trying to also accumulate to build a collection of all the archives that articles are older. But should you come across an article that you can't find anywhere, your first point of contact is your personal librarian. And on the library's catalog, under your My Library, there's a journal request. If you click on that link, it will give you a form. If you want to request some of these old journal articles, the library is still having a lot of print journal articles in the collection. So you may be lucky that we have it somewhere lying on the shelf. Please make sure that you complete the entire provide us with a complete reference. We need an author of that article, the article title. All of this is crucial so that we can go and check on our on the library system and go to the shelf. We will print that article for you and convert it into a PDF, and then we send it to you. This is a free service. You don't have to pay. You've already paid your registration. And with ebooks, it's a different story. In most instances with ebooks, if you get an ebook, you are not allowed to download the entire book. It's linked with copyright law, but there are certain publishers that will allow you to download the entire book. That means the publisher thinks you're going to use it for that moment. That is why sometimes after a day or two, you've downloaded a book and then it disappears. So you can imagine publishers will go bankrupt if we all now go and build our own libraries of ebooks. So what I would advise you do is to save the link of that particular ebook or go to the chapters and download some of the PDF chapters that you get from that book, but make sure that you reference properly. In this institution, we have a group of what we call, like I said, I'm a personal librarian. I'm your main contact and I'm based in Pretoria. I'm your main contact in the library. I'm also your main contact as far as your academics are concerned, your supervisors. I work closely with them. If you were to consult and you'll be referred back to me to say, go to the library, you have a personal librarian, they must help you with your searching of this topic or direct you to the right place. I'm assisting all the researchers in the institution, plus you as masters and doctoral students with all your research needs. So you can drop emails for all of us. We are a team of about 13 personal librarians, and we conduct such training so that we can empower you to be able to assist yourself. If you do get stuck, you're welcome to come to us. We can train you in this kind of a format, or we can even do a one-on-one. And we have a team of search librarians. Those are the librarians that service the entire university community. If you were to go and complete that one of the forms for a research topic to be done for you, you will fall in a queue of the whole university community. They service from undergraduate to top level. So the key here, learn how to use the systems, get assistance from your personal librarian, and you're good to go. I've spoken about how important your My Life credentials are. And you can, I know there are some of you who prefer their Gmail accounts. You can ask the MyUNISA people to link your My Life email account to your Gmail account. But when you correspond with us at the institution, please use your My Life email account, because we're not supposed to answer any private emails. And some of these emails, they go to the spam or they go to the trash. So we don't see them. That's why we encourage you to use your My Life email account. So this is the window to the university. You all know by now that if you want to go to your MyUNISA, you'll go here. I know some of you have an MND pages on the Moodle side, on the MyUNISA page, where you normally go and some of your supervisors place things there. But when you want to come to the library, you have to come through to this link. So when you click on it, it comes directly to the library's homepage. So on this page, what we have done as personal librarians, we've decided to build another page where you can have a one-stop shop where you'll find almost everything instead of you trying to figure out how this page functions. Because if you see at the bottom of this page, there are other things that are available in the library for you. But you, as a master's and doctoral students, I would advise you to go to your library guide. But before you even go there, there's a next page where you'll have to go and orientate yourself of what kind of services that the library has for you as a postgraduate student. When you click on that link, you'll find a lot of things. You'll even find out who your personal librarian is. There's a list of all the personal librarians assigned to different colleges and who are servicing different departments. That's where you'll find the name of your personal librarian. And then the branches, you go and use the UNISA libraries link, where you'll find out where in your area is a branch that you can use. When you borrow books, you ask us to send it there, you go and collect and you drop them off there because it's free of charge there. You don't have to pay anything to return the books to us. When you click on that link of library guides, you find a list of all the subjects that are taught at this institution, and every one of you do have a library guide. So because I'm a librarian and I'm fortunate that I'm servicing an information science department, I'm going to use information science library guide as an example. But you can go to your own subject area. If you are in psychology, there will be one. Communication science, there's one. History, politics, all the subject areas do have a library guide. And on the first page of that guide, when you click on it, it will give you, most of them are the same actually, but some of us have done different things on our different guides. What I have done with this library guide of information science, I've just linked all the libraries links here, so that this is your one-stop stop. You don't, if you're not familiar with the library page, as soon as you get to know your library guide, then you'll be able to navigate the whole library page. But I've made it easy for you to have all the links that appear on the first library page, so that when you want to go and do the catalog search, you can click on this link. If you want to look at our UNISA institutional repository, which we're going to look at, you can click it from here. So this is your home page, and this is a disclaimer, and this is myself. And you can email me if you are one of my students, if you do get stuck, or if you want to recommend anything, or if you want some help with any of these. And we have different tabs for different topics. So we're going to go first to the library catalog. And when you arrive, when you click on that library catalog, it will open this page. And we assume you know what the title of a book is. And please, when you do a title search of a book, just remember not to use any of the articles. If the title starts with an introduction to whatever, please drop AN. If the title starts with there whatever, you drop the there. Or if a title starts with an A, please drop all the articles. We assume you know what the title of a book is. That's why the default here is the title of a book. But before you even go and do your searches, I just want to explain this My Library. So this is your portfolio as a library client. You can go to your My Library. You have to log in onto the system. It will show how many books are issued under your name. If you want to renew, you can go and renew them there. If you want to check whether any book that you have borrowed is already under your name, you go and look under My Library. But the library has got all these other options of search options. If, for instance, you don't know who the full title of a book is, you remember, slightly the author, it's author, but you can't remember the initial, and the title is on its own information literacy, you are able to do an author title combination search to say, I remember that this book is by Botha, and Botha is working on information literacy. If you do that, you will pick up some of the books that speak to that. If you're lucky, you will find who Botha is. It will give you Botha and the initial and maybe that particular book title. So we've got different options of searching. When you click on your My Library link, it will give you this kind of a page. So this is my portfolio. This is what I have under my name. It will allow me to renew all of them. And our renewal only happens twice. The system does not allow you to renew a book for the third time. We assume the book is either missing or it's lost. We want to have that book over the counter to be returned. If no one has requested that book, you will be allowed to take it back. So we allow you to renew only twice. The third time you want the book back. If no one is waiting for it, you can take it out. In some instances, when you look at your My Library, you'll see that some of these books, the status will say on hold. On hold means, please return this book. Somebody has already requested it. So that's where the 7-day mantra applies. Make sure you return it within that 7-day period. Otherwise, there will be a fine. You start counting after the 7th day, we give you a fine. So for me, I've renewed from here to here once. I won't be able to renew the top 2. I'll have to return them back before I can borrow them again. So this is where you go and renew selected. You use all these to select the ones that you want to renew, or in this instance, I won't be able to renew all of them. I need to return these 2 first. If I haven't renewed anything, I will be allowed to renew all at once. You just click here and then it does it automatically. Back to the catalog. Remember, the default is the title, but now because you've got a research project that you're working on, you need to start searching for specific books that you need to use for your research project. So in this instance, I've just put a generic term, political parties. I'm looking at political parties in South Africa now that we are heading for elections and there's different political parties. I just want to, let's say my topic is on this. I need to write a paper on this. So it's a keyword search, political parties, and I use this connecting word and I put it in capital letter. In the library speak, we call these your Boolean operators. We have an and, which will connect the words for you, and we have a not, which will sort of like, I want this, I don't, and not this. And then we have an or. So an or, it means I want this or that or this or that. So you use all these Boolean operators to sort of play around with the terms that you want to search on. So this is my keyword search, and then I put it in, and then I press the enter button, or I'd say search. So what the system does, it searches the entire collection. So if you use this drop-down menu, you'll see what the entire collection is all about. It will search throughout the system with all the branches involved, whether a book is in Durban or in Ethiopia, where we also have a branch, or in Polokwane or in Rustenburg or in Bloemfontein, like a branch, it will pick up everything. And you can see this is the kind of titles that I have under this list, but it's a combination of things. I might pick up old thesis, which we didn't catalog to our UNISA institutional repository from 2003 backwards, or it will pick up print books, whether they are new or old, and it will include some of our ebooks that are speaking to this topic. So it's up to you. So if you are an international student, you would just use this drop-down menu. I think in our next slide, I show that you can use this drop-down menu if you are one of our international students to say to the system, I'm only interested in ebooks. I don't want to see anything else because I won't be able to borrow any of our print books. If you want to request this book, so let's say, for instance, the first title, it tells you that your hit, this keyword, the most relevant ones, it will indicate which are the most relevant ones, meaning your words that you use in your keyword do appear in the title of your book. So this political parties in South Africa, it's a hit. The first title is what I'm actually interested in. If I want this book, I need to click on the title of a book to engage, because some of these books, they have a summary of a book, they have an abstract, I can see what's in the book before I even hit the request button. So I would encourage you to open the whole book engage with the book, look at the summary, look at the keywords that are used in the book, look at the table of contents, and sometimes look at the subject of that particular book, because it will lead you more if you can use the subject term that is used for this book to search for more titles that are similar to this one. So I'm clicking on the first title, which will open like this. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have a summary. It has the table of contents. I can see what's in this book, and there's a subject terms. It's really on political parties in South Africa. My terms are actually highlighted in a red. So this is what I'm actually looking for. And there are chapters that I can use still in this book. So if I want to expand my search, I will click on one of these, and then it will give me a total new search on this particular subject area. So, but you can also browse the library while you are online. So the link here, it gives you the full screen where you can explore the virtual shelf browser. So you can see what lies next to this title of a book. You can browse online, you can see there's a book here, there's a book there. And when you click on it, it will open another title, which you can request as well. Because remember, we classify according to the subjects of books. All the books that are speaking to communication, politics will be on one side. So you can browse the catalog. It will save you time. Maybe you'll pick up 1 or 2 books if you are working on this particular subject area, and then you request them all at once. And if you are happy with this, you just hit the request button. That's where the verification request comes through. If you are still using your registered address, you don't have to complete this. You just hit the submit button. Then we know we'll send it to your registered address. But if you have changed addresses and then you didn't tell the registration office about that, you tell us how you want to receive this book. So you can just briefly say, please send this to the Durban branch, or please send this to the Pietermaritzburg branch or Limpopo branch. We will know we have a branch in Limpopo. We just courier this to that branch with your name on it, and then you can go and fetch it from there. And when you're done, you can just drop it back to that particular branch. Okay, for our international students, even our local students who don't have time of these requesting, waiting for a book to arrive, you can change this entire collection by using this drop-down menu, where you can just limit this to ebooks. So you limit this to ebooks, it will give you all the ebooks on this particular subject area. The mantra is the same. You open the title of that particular book that you want to see. It will tell you that now this book is being hosted by this publisher or by this service provider. There's the table of contents. You can see what's in this book. And then before you even download anything, you need to click on this link. It tells you that access is actually restricted to only our own registered students and the UNISA staff. So you are an entitled one, you are registered. That is why you have to re-register every year so that you can have access to these. When you click on that link, it takes you to this login page. This is where you put your username as a student number and your password for your MyUNISA, and you hit the login button. It will now go to open this book on that particular publisher's page, whether it's ProQuest, whether it's IGI, whether it's Web of Science or wherever, or Science Direct, where this book is sitting, because we only have our own print books in the library. All the ebooks, we buy packages and we buy licenses, but they are sitting with the publishers. That is why when you log in already, UNISA and the publisher knows that Kezipina Bai has used her logins, is now looking at this book or is using this book. So be careful of copyright. Don't go and download it, the entire book. Like I said, you can go and do it on EPUB. It means that you can just put this book on EPUB page and work on it, but it will disappear. So what is best for you, it's either you can go and there's a permanent link of this particular book. You can save the permanent link, and you can always go and open that link and work online with this book. Or you can go and look at the table of contents of this particular book and select the chapters that you actually want to use, because there's no way that you can use the entire book. So you will use parts of the book and make sure you reference properly and download some of these chapters with the mind of thinking that only 10%, like you are printing any of the books, you have to apply the copyright law properly. So you download 10% of this. You can come back tomorrow and do another 10% until you are satisfied with what you want. Right. Besides the searching for books and ebooks from our library catalog, remember when on your library guide, there's a tab also for ebooks. So you can also search for ebooks from different databases. I didn't showcase that, but I'll show you when we go live. Remember that UNISA has its own, what we call a UNISA institutional repository, where when you are done with your master's and doctoral studies, you have to deposit this in this repository. So it's a research output of the entire university, whether it's the academics that are producing articles, all the postdoctoral students that are writing articles, and you as PhD students who are now going to write articles with your co-supervisors. Your articles will be deposited in all the UNISA completed thesis and dissertations, which sits in our UIR. And we also have databases, for thesis, which are international thesis. And I see on ProQuest, I'll show you when we go live, we have different institutions, South African institutions, and we have one of the databases also sitting on what we call our Sabinet discovery page, where you can go and search for South African thesis, but you also find them on ProQuest. So yes, the UNISA institutional thesis, UIR, we started this from 2003. And before 2003, you'll find them still on our catalog. There's a project that is going on. We want to document all of this before 2003 and put them all back into, so that we have a one-stop shop for our UNISA institutional repository. So on your library guide, remember the home page. You have the library catalog. Now you have the UNISA institutional repository. You click on that repository. It takes you to a link where you can log in, and then it allows you to go to search according to communities. So when you get here, you have to search under your own college. Remember, you guys are registered in different colleges. You search under your own college, you select your college. In my instance, I chose the College of Human Sciences. And then when you get to your college, remember colleges are divided into different schools. You select your own schools. In this case, I chose the School of Arts, where some of the departments that I'm servicing are sitting there. And you can browse here according to subjects. If you want to check if this department has done a thesis or a dissertation on this particular subject, you can go and browse according to subject. You can even browse according to your own advisor, which is a supervisor. You can go and see if, for instance, you are being supervised by Professor Ngulube, and you want to see how many students were passed by Professor Ngulube, what kind of a style they are writing in, all those things. You can do that. And you can just dive into your own specific department. I chose information science, and this is what this department's output looks like. They've got their own research outputs, which are all the articles that are produced by the department, the conference proceedings, everything, and their own thesis and dissertations that are deposited in this. So because you are interested to look at the, the style of it, especially when you are new in masters, you can just want to see how the table of contents look like, how it's done, compare. You want to see an example. How do I go about this? You click on that thesis and dissertation link, and it will normally give you the recent submissions. Some of these sometimes might be the recent submissions by the department, which are articles, or all the submissions that were, all the thesis and dissertations that were graduated. It will go back to last September, I think, because this year has just happened. I think our team is still uploading some of the latest ones. So you choose any of these titles that you want to look at because you're interested in looking at the example. So I chose the third one, which is on a framework for web archiving. This is an information science student. This is the name of the student, and this is an abstract. At the bottom, you have view or open. It will now, when you click on that, it will open the entire thesis. But I'm not interested in the first pages, your dedication, whether this was passed by who's the supervisor, who's the course supervisor. Your main interest will actually be on the table of contents. You would want to delve into the table of contents of this particular thesis. If it's something that is in your department and it's something that is supervised by your supervisor, you want to look at the layout. How does it look like? The introduction, how it's being done. And most importantly, most of you would want to go to the literature review and how other people are doing their literature review, and the methodology section, what kind of methodologies and what. So it will be for you to go and have a look, because in olden days, we used to have people that are doing their master's and doctoral level coming to the library to want to look at the print version of a thesis and go through it page by page to see how is the table of contents, the layout of the table of content. What do you start with? Do you start with an introduction? What is in the introduction? What is it? It's a layout of this whole thing. So this is where you're going to go. But on your library guide, there's a tab for thesis and dissertations where we also showcase some of our databases for our international thesis. So we normally use the ProQuest one because it also has South African universities. So you click on that ProQuest one, and when you arrive on that thesis and dissertations page, you can do your topic search. You can say, in my case, I was looking at the information literacy. I didn't specify where about do I look this. I would have said maybe in an academic university. I would have put another tab here to say I'm looking at information literacy in my environment of work. And I was happy with what I wanted, but then you have to do all the filters. You have to limit, because you can't look at more than 400 examples of M&Ds. You can either, the 97 results, it's what I've asked for. I said to the system, I'm looking at information science as a subject, and I'm looking at information literacy, and I only can read English. So some of our international students can read other languages like French. You can just maybe select some of them. Then you'll have your results. So these are all the theses. And if you are a doctoral student, you don't want to go through 97 just to deceive what is an M, what is a D. You can say to the system, I'm only interested in doctoral dissertations only. And then it will discard all the M's. Then you can look at all the D's. Then this is how I selected the third one on the list. So this is how their layout also will look like. It's a table of contents, but I've just moved it down a little bit to see how chapter 1, the introduction, your literature review, and the literature, and at the bottom here, it's the methodology part. But what is nice with these is that you can get further references. So there are references that are listed separate. Instead of you dwelling through the whole thesis, you can go to the references of this particular person to see, maybe you can have more information there. You can use some of the sources. If you are working in a space of information literacy, you can go and look at some of the references that this person has consulted. And it also tells you that there are documents which were shared references. So it leads you to more. Instead of you searching on a topic and finding a thesis that looks similar to yours, you can also have all of these links. So you can even download some certain pages or chapters that speak to you, because there's a download function. With the UNISA ones, there's also a download function. You can go and just, but there's no way that you'd want to download somebody's thesis, the entire thesis. You might want to use parts of that particular thesis. Okay, the third part of our talk this morning is on searching articles. I think this is the key, this is the crucial one, where you now have to go and look for your topical information, your research project, whether it has been done somewhere, whether there are articles that speak to what you want to research on, whether you want to, especially when you want to do your literature review, you have to go and do this overview and then go and search, you know, across the field of your study and see that if there are different voices on different subject area that you want to ask. And this is where you come, and there's an article tab there. You click on it, it will list all your, you know, your subject databases. So we've placed some of our core subject databases on this list. It's not to say you can't search all of this, but you can start somewhere. And once you get a hang of it, you'll try all the others. And some of them, they actually belong to one stable. So for instance, that academic search print ultimate one is a generic one, but I know when I click on it, I get to EBSCO. This is an EBSCO interface, but I have to choose more because this particular service provider is giving me all these other subject areas. So if I know that my topic has a slant on whatever, any other, you know, like people who are doing the business people, they might want to use some of the economic databases. You go and select according to your own subject field. So I've selected my subject field as a librarian. There are two core ones here, and I know information literacy has to do with education. I chose the education one, and I say, okay, I'm happy. And I get to the search prompt here, which is usually an advanced search prompt. And I tell the system, in most of these databases, when you start typing, it sort of leads you. It gives you either synonyms, or it will ask you, are you interested in the following? So I said to the system, I want to keep information literacy education as a phrase, but I want all these words, I'm using the quotations because I want them to be next to one another. So there's my information literacy education. It comes as one, as a phrase. So I'm searching under that, and I put it in quotes, but I leave it as a keyword. This selector field is an optional, it's a keyword. You can use the drop-down menu and say, I want this term in all the titles of my article. But sometimes it's dangerous when you start with a broader search, rather go broad and see what comes up. When you're happy with your broader search and you can select from that, you can go and say, but I'm not interested in everything, because then it flies to the title and it appears in the subject term. I want it only in my title. You can limit according to that, but be careful first. Go broad and then limit afterwards. And once you've done that, because I want it in a university context, when I tap university students, it sort of leads me and tells me, do you mean you want to also use college students, or college students, or any other words that are related, sort of like synonyms? So I've chosen that, and I search. It gave me a lot of articles, but then I have all these refinements to do. And I said, I'm only interested in a 5 years back, and I just move this to 5 years back. Give me only 5 years, and I can only read English. And I'm interested in peer review academic journals. I'm not interested in newsletters or everything. So you do your limiters, you do your search, you do your limiters, and once you're happy with what you can go through. This is 71. You start adding this into your folder. You can see you've got a plus sign there. If I click on it, it changes to an envelope. It sits in my folder, or I have a folder view here, because you can't actually go one by one. So this is where I said you have to go and download that libkey nomad, which is your, it will sit at somewhere at your, whatever your service provider, whether you're using Chrome, Mozilla, or Edge, it will sit there. So when you do any of these searches, you can see this is a PDF, this is not. So this will give me a PDF, but it will appear in another database. So when you have that libkey nomad as an add-on, you are able to work on one system and get all your PDFs referrals, instead of you going now to go and check, I didn't find this at EBSCO, but I'm interested in it, and go and check it somewhere. It will give you all the links. It means EBSCO can provide you with a PDF, but not this, but you can find it somewhere else. If you have that libkey nomad, it will take you to another database where you find it as a PDF. Once you have selected, you go and open your folder view, or you just click on that folder. It takes you to this page. I've selected 6, and all of them will have PDFs, or will have this nomad key where it will lead you to the full text, but it says to you, where do you want to send this to? So most people don't print anymore. I can email this to myself, but what is best in our reference management tools training is to export this into your library, whether you're using RefWorks, EndNote, or you prefer your Mendeley, the one that we don't subscribe to anymore, but there's a free version online. So you can export this to your library, meaning everything that you've selected here, it will come into your PDF. So in your library, you'll be reading that, or you can send this to your email. When you click on your email, don't change this email, just put your My Life email account and then press send. It will go to your email and it will confirm that this is being sent. Should you come across a reference that doesn't, even when you're doing a search, have a PDF and your libkey is not picking it up, you are welcome to use the Find ePublications, which is also found on your library guide at the bottom of your article search at the bottom page. You can go and click on Find ePublications, and it will open a portal like this where you go and put in the title of a journal. Again, here, don't start with a journal of what. You go journal of what. You don't use articles. And then here I've searched under Journal of Information Literacy, and the system tells me this particular title of a journal is available in these databases from these years. And in your article tab under the ePublication Finder, we all have put steps on how you now navigate this. You go and check according to the year of publication, the volume, the issue number. It will lead you to a publisher's page where this particular online journal is sitting, to that year, volume, issue number for you to pick up that particular article on a PDF format. Next time, we're going to look at the research support, but in the meantime, go and explore. There's a very nice database called Sage Research Methods Online, which is it's wonderful. We'll explore this in our next training. There's a project planner there. They guide you how you now going to undertake this plan of yours of becoming a researcher, what to do and what not to do. And there's what we call a research methods map. If you have a sort of like a dilemma on this methodology belongs to where, you can go and have a methods map mapped for you. And for PhD students, you can there's a method space. I'll show you where you can go and register. And on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, they discuss a methodology path topic, whether it's literature review, whether it's qualitative, quantitative data analysis. There's a discussion. So you as a PhD student, explore that, go and register an account so that you are kept abreast. And sometimes you'll be lucky they'll be discussing your own methodologies. And then we'll do the referencing part. But in the meantime, please go and register any of the accounts under the Reference Management Tools Guide, where you can decide whether you want to go with RefWorks. The choice is yours. But we support RefWorks, and I see most students want to use an EndNote. It's your choice, or you want to stay with your Mendeley, which is not going to be supported, but you can continue using it. It will have lesser space for you because we have actually, we're not subscribing to it. And when you click on that link, it takes you here that this is where you're going to make your own choices, whether you want to use RefWorks or EndNote. Yeah, we got rid of Mendeley, which is you can find online. So I thank you, but I think I'm going to go online quickly. We have extra 30 minutes. I just want to go to the catalog and showcase the searching part of articles. In this case, I'm going to go to my library guide and select any of the subjects that I'm responsible for. I'll go to my own one, the information science guide. I hope the system is working today because it hasn't been kind to us the whole of this week. So you click on the article tab, you select any of these databases. Remember on the books tab, I said you've got ebook databases for our international students. If you are out there, if you search on the catalog and you can't find anything, you are welcome to come to your ebook tab, where most of us have placed some of the main databases that you can search for your topics and pick up some of the ebooks that you can use. But on the article tab, I'm just going to go for this one. That's where your student number comes in and your MyUNISA password. I'm using my own logins. It will constantly want you to log in. Sometimes it's irritating. You'll think you at the wrong place, because it constantly wants you to authenticate. Even when you are conducting a search, sometimes it throws you out and just brings this login details. But I mean, our ICT is looking at it. So we're hoping that will be fixed. Once you are logged in, it doesn't have to actually ask you for your login details now and then. So you have to accept all terms and conditions. So this is where we are. We've asked for this, but make sure you choose more, because you can't just search one database at a time. So you have to select more, but because I'm an information science librarian, I'll just select what belongs to me. And I know I'm looking at information literacy. I say I'm fine. So you select according to your own subject area, and then you tell the system, okay, now I'm done. I've made my 4 selections and I'm good to go. So it will open that advanced search screen, where you now go and put your information literacy, and you can also search, either you search them, you search terms in parentheses, or I'm looking at information literacy. I think I'll keep it to this. Or I can say information literacy education, and I want all of this in a string, and I put them in quotation marks. See, when I start typing, it sort of gives me some hints whether I want for college students, but I'm going to say university. And then it gives me, do you mean university, college, or higher education? Or you want university students, college students, or undergraduate students? I can go with this one. And before I press even the search button, I tell the system I'm interested in peer review academic journals. I'm not interested in any ephemeral ones. And I can say I'm looking at 5 years back, from 2019 to 2024, and then I press the search button. So in this way, I've got my own limiter set, but remember when you get your results, you still have to tell the system whether you can see I've got 82. The other one that I displayed was 71. It means, and there's, because these are international databases, you're bound to get different languages. So my filters are already set. I've already refined by using these Boolean operators, and I've limited according to peer review, and my dates are set, but I still have to go and say, I can't read Chinese. And I go under language, and then I say, you know, I can't read Turkish and Chinese. I can only read English. Sort of, it updates everything. And the default here, it lists 20 per page. But if you want to make your browsing quicker, you can tell the system that I would want to have, I want to look at the 50 at the go. So you go and do your settings there. I'll show you where to go once we are allowed in. You tell the system, I don't want to browse by looking at the first 20. I want to look at the first 50, because what the system does, it ranks them according to relevancy. So all your top ones will be the most relevant ones. You see when you browse through the 71, towards the end of your browsing, you'll find things that are no longer relevant. So under the page option, you can go and tell the system, I want to browse 50 at a go. If for instance, you have about 400, then it makes your browsing quicker, and then you apply. And then it will give you, like here, it says 20, and it will give me 50. And if there are duplicates, it will actually discard most of the duplicates. So like here, now I'm left with 27. So it says exact duplicates were removed from your results. So it's actually nicer to say to the system, I want to browse per page, you know, give me 50 at the go. And then it doesn't waste your time. It only gives you 27. So I know these are the most relevant ones. It discarded all the irrelevant ones and some of the ones that were duplicated. So I have this list. What do I do now when I get such a list? Remember, I said that libkey will give you something like this. I'm scared to click on it because it's so this is an external link icon, which is that libkey of mine. So I know when I click here, I will be able to get a PDF somewhere else in one of the databases that doesn't provide a PDF from EBSCO. So what I can do, I can tell the system, I'm interested in this one. So it allows you to put them in a folder, which is when you put your cursor there, it tells you that this folder is empty. When I start saying I want this, it will say now your folder has some items. And if you want to read the abstract, remember it gives you sort of a synopsis of an abstract. So this is how you're going to read the entire abstract. Before you even decide, you just put your cursor here, and then it will bring up the abstract for you. Okay, let's try this one. It is so slow. So you just have to hover on this hourglass, and then it'll give you, yeah, I'm too much in a hurry. Okay, I'll have to wait. If you hover your cursor here, it will give you the entire abstract before you even put it in your folder. So there's my abstract. Then I can read it and make an informed decision to say, okay, I'm good to go. I want this article. Then I plug it in my folder. I select all the ones that I think are relevant for me, and even the ones that I'll find somewhere else by that extension. And if I'm happy with what I've got, I go back to my folder view, or I just open the folder from the top here. So this is where you can now decide where you want to send this list. So it will either you send it to your email, and if you use your MyLife email account, because you've got all the PDFs embedded into these articles, UNISA has given you more space. So you will be able to export or even email these in bulk, whether it's 50 or 100 articles, you have enough space on your MyLife email account. So you just click on the email function and you're good to go. You send it to your email as you wish. I think I'm going to pause. I'm worried about that. This is a monologue, and okay, again, on the library's homepage, remember I said you must look at the services for postgraduate students. Go engage this, and there's your personal librarian list. Check who your personal librarian is, engage with your personal librarian, and you know, so that you can be assisted, because we are here to help. And then check also, you know, the library, UNISA libraries, where they are. You have a list of all the library branches. You can see the opening hours, branch locator here. We have a branch in Cape Town, Durban, East London, you know, so that when you request these books, they are sent to either your address, if you prefer, or to any of these branches. And that my library link, I'm logged in already. This is where you go. This is where you go to renew, or renew selected. As I said, you renew online. Again, on our UIR, I just quickly want to show you how to get there. This is your UNISA institutional repository, where you're going to go and get the samples of thesis and dissertations according to your own college. And then your school, you need to know where you belong, whether you are in the social sciences, any one of these. You choose your school, which will list your departments. You can go to any of these, and then you go and look at the examples of the thesis and dissertations. You'll have the latest submissions. You go and view them there. And most of these are actually full text. So these are the initial pages of the thesis. So your interest will always be on the table of contents, the introduction, background, problem statement, how it's done, the theories, literature review. That's where you will go and check how your other peers are doing things. Okay. I think this is where I'm going to stop.